tired of doing projects and ending up with all sorts of leftover yarn and not knowing what to make with it? Watch today's video. I give you the solution. I love making crochet projects. I enjoy crocheting. I know a little bit of knitting, but either way, you tend to end up with leftover yarn. And I'm always looking for a great project to use it. I have a good one. This is a baby blanket that I've made. You can make it any size. That's why I really love this pattern and wanted to show you. But it is simply made out of leftover yarn. This yarn is all the same brand. So when you're picking out your scraps, make sure you're using the same weight. This one is the same weight because it's also the same brand. This is the Simply Soft yarn by Karen. I love using this yarn. And I just had a lot of leftovers, so I put this together. The cool thing about this one, there are no ends to weave in. I use the magic knot, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So watch the video, going to give you the pattern, going to give you the tips and tricks, and you'll end up with a solution to that leftover yarn. Okay, I found this pattern when I was searching on Pinterest, and it's a pattern that is on Couch Surfer Crochet.com. Very well written pattern, and so you can see the full written pattern on her website. I have the link down below, but I'm just going to show you how to do the pattern. The baby blanket that I made, I used a size H crochet hook because it was a little smaller yarn. She calls for a size I, so I have a size I crochet hook, and I'm just doing two different colors here to show you in a little swatch on how you do the pattern. So you start with a chain. Here's my slip knot. You chain multiples of 10, then plus 4. So I'm just going to do a swatch, so I'm going to do 24 chains. Then in the fourth chain from the hook, we're going to do a double crochet. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here, I'm going to do a double crochet. So you loop over your hook, put it through underneath both pieces of the chain, and draw back. So at this point, you have 3 loops on your hook. Pull your yarn over your hoop just through 2 of the loops. Pull it over again through the remaining 2. And we're going to do double crochets all the way across. Okay, this first row here, I have 1 stitch left, and this is your main color. Even though it's scraps, every other row is the same color. So my every other row on this swatch will be gray, and then I will use scraps for the intermittent colors, which is what I did on my baby blanket. So when you get down to the end and you have 1 stitch left, cut your main color, or cut the color you're working on, about 4 inches. Okay, this is my this is my starting tail. In a real project, I would weave it back, so I'm just going to cut that so we don't get confused. So here is a little bit generous, but about 4-inch tail. And now you take your first scrap, and we're going to join it by doing a magic knot. So the one, it doesn't matter which one has to loop over and one has to loop under. So this one here, I'm going to take my tail, and I'm going to put the loop, and my tail is underneath the circle. So it goes around and it goes underneath. The other color is you're going to make the same loop, but you're putting your tail over on top. So this tail is over and this tail is under. Lay them on top of each other. The one that's on the bottom, bring it up and through and hold it with this hand. The one that is on the top, you bring it through the bottom, through that same center, and now you have a tail in each hand, and you're just going to pull both pieces and kind of snug it tight a little bit, and now you can cut those tails off right by that knot. No need to leave a tail at all, and now you can continue with your new color. I'm going to do a double crochet, and you can see how it just joins in with the new color. At the end of each row, you're going to chain 3, and we're going to turn the project. Now we're going to set you up for the pattern. So here I'm going to double crochet in 4 stitches. And now I'm going to chain one and skip one. So we're going to chain one, skip the one down below, and now you're going to do 10 double crochets. Let's double check here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now we're going to chain one, skip one, and we're going to end with 4 double crochets. So we're going to double crochet in the last one as well, but right before you have that last stitch, cut your tail. So you take your loop, and I'm going to loop this one over the top. I'm going to loop this one down below, lay them on top of each other. So here we have the one on top, comes through the center and up. This one is on the bottom, so it comes up and over through the center and pull it tight. Cut off your tail. And now you can continue. So I'm ending with 5 double crochets. Always chain 3 at the end. Turn. Now we're going to do the fun row of the main color. We're going to double crochet over to that gap. So it's going to be 4 double crochets. So now we're over to the gap, and we're going to do a treble crochet down below. So we're skipping this row, and we're going to pop clear down to your main color. A treble crochet is you loop it over twice. We're going to go down to that double crochet that was skipped earlier, and we're going to go in the top of it. Now you have 4 on your hook. We're going to go through 2 at a time. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 2. Now you're going to double crochet in the top of each of the rest over to that next gap. Okay, we're to the gap. We do another treble, loop it twice, down through the top of the skipped stitch, draw it back. You have 4 on your hook. Now you do 2 at a time. 2, 2, 2. Finish off with the 4 double crochets, stopping before you get to the 5th one. So there's my 4. Going to cut myself with a tail. And you can get a different color now, or you can make a pattern. You're going to be able to see how really cool this pattern is. So I'm just, with my swatch, I'm just using the 2. So I'm going to magic knot, looping that one to the top, looping this one to the bottom, lay them on top of each other. The bottom goes up and over. The top goes down and from the bottom. And if you don't get the magic knot right away, don't worry, you'll get plenty of practice because on the end of each one, you're going to be doing a magic knot. So now I double crochet, and my new color is there. So chain 3. Now with every other one, so your main color is always going to treble. Your alternating color is always going to skip. So main color treble, alternating color skip. So we're going to do our 4 double crochet. And right on top of where you skipped before in that treble, chain 1, skip over that 1, and we're going to do the double crochets over to your next gap. I should say over to your next treble, but you'll see the gap. Okay, we're getting close. You can see your gap is here in your treble, so that's your sign that you need to chain 1, skip it, do your 4, stopping before you do your 5th. Okay, one last time I'll show you the magic knot. Okay, whichever way one loops over, the other one has to do the opposite. So that one's over, this one is under. Put them on top of each other. Bring this one through the bottom. Bring this one through the top. Draw them full. And now we have your new color. We're back to the main color. So again, main color is always treble. So you're going to always do a treble stitch with your main color down to the row before, and your alternating color is always going to be a skip. But the cool thing is, because you're doing the magic knot, there's no tails to weave in. Okay, now I'm going to show you the actual project I'm working on, how I'm going to put a border on that. You start with your main color, which my main color is blue. So your first foundation row was blue. So you need to end with blue. So I've done that, but then that leaves the sides looking like it needs to be framed. So before you fasten off here, we're going to do a side border row. And then at this end, we will fasten off. And then on the opposite side, do the same. So anytime you're going around a corner, you need to compensate for that turn. Okay, I've done 5 double crochets in this section, so here's my 6th one. I need to add one for my corner and then add one for the new side. And now throughout the rest of the side, I am going to just be spacing out double crochets all the way down. It looks like 2 double crochets per row. Looks okay, so I'm going to go one more color here, and let's see what we got. Okay, that looks like it's laying down really good. So I'm just going to continue double crochets on the side, fasten off, and then I will join in the top of this one and make a corner and continue. Okay, here's the blanket all done. Probably up there on my top favorites ever to make. I loved being able to do the magic knot at the end and not having ends that we had to weave in. I loved using up my yarn stash. I loved the way it come together on the pattern. And it was easy to remember, and it was mindless basically. So if you have any questions when you're making yours, please comment down below. But as always, thank you for watching DIY on the House.